quick refresher and tutorial on the Pivot Interactives activity. So this is what my view looks like as a teacher. This is the activity I'm asking you to do, which is mass and acceleration. 28 points on that, so it'll be basically 3 standards, I think. At any rate, this is the prior to getting started section. I added this personally because I think it's kind of important. There's a YouTube video. If you click on here, it'll talk about a couple of the equations that I think we really need to use for this video. There's just, or for this lab. Unfortunately, no matter how good some of the online labs are, it's going to ask you for some information that we haven't really done yet. And this will give you enough background to be able to progress with the activity. So you got to do this first. Each section you want to lock, answer, and continue at the end. If you leave Pivot Interactives before you've done that, it will not save your work. So that's actually kind of important. So say, for example, I do something like this. Now that's wrong. But let's say I'm going to lock it. Now, I had 2 more tries, so you shouldn't do that, but I want to get to the next section. So this involves situation. Notice there are things you can change here, both mass, force. They're calling this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to leave it like that. Remember, the tools are up here. This is a tool you can use to measure distance. So I'd put it somewhere like this and measure the distance in centimeters along here. This is a stopwatch. And this is that's what I wanted, is that still there. This is a force meter, which you're going to need at some point to figure out how much force is on the spring. So I'm going to get rid of that one for right now. So when we play the video, so notice when the fan is on, it's stretching the spring, and then it cuts, and then there's things which go. So if I go back to the beginning, the way that I would end up using this force sensor is I'd put it here on the right side of this spring, and then I'd move this, and then I'd pause. If you notice here, this is at about 1.5 newtons. That's how far it's pulled. If I want to think about measuring distance in time, which is what I'm going to do, I can go frame by frame by pushing arrow keys, or this, but also on my laptop or your computer, you probably have those. And you're going to want to make sure that you start the timer and reset it so that when it's cut, that is when your time 0 is. So not there, not there, not there, not there, there. That should be my time 0, I think, at that particular point. And so now what I would do is I would measure about every 1/10 of a second. So I think that's 12 frames. Yep. So if I look, that's only got a certain distance. If I look now, it's got another distance, and so forth. But if I go back here a little bit, I did not have this at the correct spot. So I want this 0 to be at the correct position. So right now, after 12 frames, or 1/10 of a second, it looks like it's only gone 1 centimeter. After 20 frames, or 24 frames, or 2/10, maybe 3.5 or so, and so forth. And so you're going to collect data till it reaches about the end. And then you're going to answer some questions here about keeping things. I locked it even though I didn't have answers, so you want to be careful because you can't modify them afterwards, but you do want to make sure that you correctly get things submitted in each section, because that saves it. And then here it's talking about things as well, a little bit different way to measure things. This is talking about measuring the force on the cart. So it doesn't matter in this section which mass and which force you pick, but you want to keep the same force. So if I'm picking this one, then we're only changing the masses as time goes on. And then you're going to basically run the video through. use the tools as need be. After you're using Forrest this first time, you shouldn't need to use it again. You use that, and in each video, again, position this where it's 0, position the stopwatch where and you decide to start it at whatever frame you think is appropriate, and that's going to be different for each video. And then you're going to record distances and positions down here and get a graph and things like that. So there's other things that are going on down here as well, but this is the main idea for how to do the lab.